Only true dogs fucking me and Big Nate. Wow. Shoot him in the greens, toss his body in that big lake.
Tell us about a little bit some of the business, like when you were fighting, like some of the business that's been going on that was kind of like politics that you go through.
One thing about when I was coming up, it was politics where everybody fought each other. It was real fights back in those days. It wasn't no problem with making big fights happen. Back in the day, we had Don King, the Bomb Aaron, we had more promoters and Cedric Kushner. It's not that many promoters as there used to be, and it's getting a little bit more difficult. A lot of red tape in between the lines stuff. And a lot of people is doing this, messing the game up, and we can't see the big fights we want to see. And it's killing the game, the sport is dying because of that. And until we fix that, there's going to be a big hole in the game. And they need to be fixed, and fixed soon.
I think that the major problem is everybody's looking to cash out. Like they're looking to cash out on a big pay-per-view fight rather than to push to try to make and build great talent. See, that's one thing I've always given Don King his credit for. Don not only focused on a main event, he had an undercard. You're gonna see probably 4 or 5 title fights on one pay-per-view. So he always would bring up the next. When he had Chavez, he had Felix Trinidad on that undercard every time. So when Chavez started to, fall down, Trinidad became the next. So he knew how to develop the next champion and keep them right there so the people wouldn't be unfamiliar with him. They would see him right away.
He the same with me. And if I wouldn't became world champion, he had me right behind Mike Tyson and them Ben Holyfield off on a lot of the undercards. And I was on my way coming up the ladder as being successful as they were, but I didn't have the career they had. It was much better fighters than I was. But Don King gave me a good opportunity, and I never will forget him because he real honest and real truthful, more than what people think. He's a great person, personally.
Yeah. Now, we had some fights that came up, man, that was pretty interesting. We saw the fight that happened with Anthony Joshua and the MMA fighter Ngonnou. So Francis Ngonnou came and said something very interesting, and they kind of let it fade away. He said he felt like he was drugged. He felt asleep going into the fight. And that's alarming because that same thing was told to me by 2 other fighters that got in a ring, but this was with Golden Boy fighters. But in UK, this is why Tyson Fury was very careful when he fought the Klitschko's over there, because he knew that all of these politics that they play in the game, and overseas they play a lot of dirt. They way dirtier.
Way dirtier.
They took the ring and made it spongy for Tyson Fury, and he had it in the contract, so they had to take the whole ring up on the day of the ring, or the day of the fight, and take some of that cushion out. Because that's what they did to try to make it spongy so Tyson Fury could, slow him down so he couldn't move around the ring. So he was walking around, he knew. Then after the fight, after he beat Klitschko, he knew not to drink their water. They kept trying to give him a water bottle. He was like, nah. We brought our own water bottle. Because he was like, no, y'all ain't gonna have me fail the drug test, giving me some water that's laced with something so it's gonna show up on the final test. He was ahead of all of them because over there he knew. And he's like, the guy was trying to force him to drink the water too. Like, here's a water for you. No water till I get to the back with my team. They got my water. These politics happen, and I'm gonna let him know that I'm gonna follow up. So what did you think about that?
I mean, that's possible. I mean, that's alarming. I didn't think that of it until you mentioned it, but that could possibly happen. And there's a lot of games being played overseas that they don't play in America because America have tighter rules in sports. So they can really happen. I'm not saying it did, and if it did, it's a tragedy in the sport. But Joshua looked good to me. He dominated. If he was fair and square, he showed the world that he's a great champion. And if anything else come behind that, that's on him. And it takes from his greatness. But I was very shocked and very pleased with his performance. I would hate to take that back because of cheating allegations. And if that's true,
Right.
that's crazy.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Now, it looked like to me it was just experience. He was just not prepared to deal with somebody who had boxing experience and was setting him up for the right hand every time. He just kept lowering, the guard was so low, he just blind him with the jab, just set it up, boom, throw the right hand over the top. He couldn't miss with that all night. It's like, dude, you just keep throwing it, he out of there. He has no defense for it.
He looked at flat though.
Yeah, he did. That's what he
And
said.
since you said that,
Yeah.
I mean, that's powerful, bro. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it truly happened, but he looked at flat.
Yeah.
Maybe he was scared.
And he said, no, he was tired. He's like, I was asleep. He was asleep before that. And that's the third time I've ever heard that in life. You know who told me that before when they fight? Antonio Tarver. When he went and fought Bernard Hopkins, he said, I was asleep before, like 10 minutes for me to walk into the ring. I was asleep in the back. And he's like, man, he's like, in any fight I've ever done, I never felt that drowsy and out of it. He's like, I was out of it.
And that was one of his worst performances. I put money on Tom when he was taking him to school.
Yeah.
I bet on that fight, and I was very disappointed in Tom.
Yeah, and that's why he said that fight and another fight that happened before that, it was the same fighter, Bernard Hopkins, Golden Boy Promotion, Kelly Pavlik. Kelly Pavlik's the same thing happened to him. Kelly Pavlik was like, man, I was days before the fight even started.
Man, that sounds big rumors, man. That's
So
bro, that's crazy.
same
bro.
fighter, Golden Boy, and it's Bernard
That's
Hopkins.
crazy.
B-Hop. They had to keep B-Hop winning.
Wow.
Winky Wright. It was weird going on in his fight. And it was a whole lot of activity going on they was allowed. So they had to keep Bernard winning. That was the only thing they had that was, because Oscar wasn't really fighting no more. So he was just milking Bernard. But he was like, he held a room service, and that's what messed him up at the hotel. Yeah, and that's what, Tarver told me
That's
that
crazy.
himself. So,
I'm gonna have a conversation with Tom.
yeah.
And we'll come back on that in the future. Man.
Yeah,
That's
ask
crazy.
him about it. He'll tell you. He's
Wow.
like, I was asleep.
That was one of his worst performances.
Yeah.
I mean, he was mad at him after the fight. I'm like, man, I bet this money you do. You didn't look like I thought you would look. And I was disappointed. But wow. You didn't woke up my man. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, like I said, on the Nate Jones story, you know, you get it all here.
Yeah, you can get all here, man.